What's going on, Soul Tribe? Welcome to Kenneth's Perspective, where you see it from my eyes. Yesterday, I spent some time with my great cousin, very beloved, Mildred Bernice Leatherwood. Feel free to call her Bernice. And Bernice was giving some knowledge about being aware of being vigilant, wise as serpents, and gentle as doves, and paying attention to who you're talking to, what you're talking about, where the conversation is steering, and how long you're talking to them. And before the video starts, I want to highlight something that a lot of us have had our innocence taken, right? And for most people, the innocence gets taken and they start doing the innocence taking, right? And for others, very small few, the righteous few, the innocence gets taken, they decide to armor up and make sure it doesn't happen to someone else. Each one teach one. So Bernice was giving some advice about not being swindled, and she also gave a story about how it happened to her. So for some of you, you could have been through the same situation, or for some of you, you may watch this video and then that situation arises and you know how to handle it. But I hope you all take something from this video like I have taken something from that conversation. And I hope you're able to implement it in your life to protect yourself, be wise, and be safe. Peace. I hope you enjoy the conversation with my cousin, Miss Mildred Bernice Leatherwood. Enjoy. Got swindled.
I got swindled.
Okay.
And getting swindled, God say, well, the person that swindled me, it's their fault. They shouldn't have done it. Maybe they shouldn't have done it, but they did it because I was an easy mark. Now, that is an issue that we have to look at. Are you an easy mark? Or you are in one step? Anytime a person is stealing, they first have to make up their mind what they're going to steal. Then the second, how am I going to steal it? And the third is they stole it. Now, all that preparation is going on in their head. That's the same about the swindle. You looking for something for nothing, and somebody offers you something that you think for nothing, and you find out that you got hooked. And you done lost what you thought you was going to be getting for almost nothing. Yes, life has a really double cross you. Because when you're looking for something for nothing, that's what you get, is nothing. I don't know.
So what we speaking about here is the turning point in which she believes that self-righteousness or being full of yourself and loving yourself so much to the point where you make it hard for people to love you and they can't stand it. She's figuring out that turning point. And what she said at that point is when she realized she had a problem, or would you call it like a dependency? You was looking for something. But what you was looking for, they was giving you false hope.
Not only that, you shouldn't have been thinking somebody should be giving you something that you yourself, if you need it, what's wrong with your mindset that you can't supply your needs? If I love myself, I wouldn't misuse myself. If I cared about you, I wouldn't misuse you. If a person misuses you once, twice, three times, they keep on misusing you and you keep on asking for more. That's not loving yourself. That's being, well, I would say choosing to be a victim. Choose to feel sorry for yourself. Oh, I was so nice to them and they treated me like that. I was so this and what were you being nice to them think they'd be nice to you? That's really the way people think.
You know what a
But that
therapist
ain't the way that happens.
you know what a therapist told me?
What did they tell you?
This was the other day I went to see my therapist and she said, uh, a lot of people have a belief, and that belief is everyone does like me, and everyone does want to be my friend,
That's not true.
and that's a myth, right?
That's right.
And a lot of people walk around with that thought in their head.
You you cannot force anybody to change their ways to fit your ways or fit the way you think. That's not a very healthy way to go about it, because they if they change it one way, they can change it another way. If they change it on Monday, they can change it on Tuesday. If they change it on Tuesday, they can change it on Saturday. The point is, what you want is that you want to live so that you can look in the mirror at yourself and say, I got faults, but those faults are not going to overpower me and overtake me. I'm going to try to deal with my faults in such a way that I won't offend somebody else. Now, uh, we all got problems. We all got problems. But I remember one time I was swindled. I'm making a confession, but that's the truth. This man we were coming to the park. It was out downtown in Detroit. It was one beautiful day, and I was sitting there on the bench, looking and enjoying the fresh air, brainless, not thinking about nothing but the fresh air and the beautiful sunshine and all. Wasn't prepared for this. And that's what people do, look for those that are not prepared. You don't be looking for all that you get, but it comes on you anyway. I'm sitting there just enjoying the sunshine. So then here comes this person telling, hello, good afternoon, whatever, started the conversation. That was my first mistake. Shouldn't have started the conversation, but I was being friendly. I didn't want to act like I ignored him or didn't hear what he said or didn't notice him or something. Well, what can hurt me? What can harm me? To say, he said, hello, good evening. I said, good evening back, hello, back. But that wasn't all that was said. He struck up a conversation. Now, striking up the conversation is not just saying hello and goodbye. Striking up a conversation is, let's talk. You know, I got this kind of trouble, my back hitting me, my this, and that's conversation. That's more than just hello and goodbye. So he struck up a conversation. Not thinking, just wanted to be friendly. I began to answer him back, and we began our conversation. Well, my mind was on conversation. How he's doing okay. He's my brother, blah, 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 blah. Yep. But that isn't what the person I was talking to was thinking. Because he was thinking, how much money can I swindle her out? How can I get the money? And what can I say to lead to the bank? So, without me realizing it, the conversation began to get to be about money. Not only money, banks. How did we get in a conversation about money and banks? I don't know. Because all I was doing was just talking, thinking. When he got to the banks, he said to me, you know, I have some money in the bank, but I don't know how to get it out. Now, basically, that should have been a sign for me to keep going. But I'm going to be helpful. You mean to tell me you got money in the bank and you don't know how to get it out? Common sense would have told me. Common sense should have told me. Leave. Leave right away. He's lying. he's he's putting you on a card. But no, I didn't tap it like that. I'm too nice. Oh, I feel so sorry for that man. He done lost all that money, and all he had to do is go back to the bank and withdraw it. Oh, I wish I could help him. Oh, then you begin to concentrate on him, not on the money and not on yourself. Here's how you can help him. He hadn't asked for help, but you will give it to him anyway. If they don't ask, don't give. Well,
Offer help
it's it's
if they
uh
didn't ask for it.
it's not easy, but a lot of things we go through life with, we don't have to go through life with it. A lot of things we expect and we want, we don't need. And if we have them, they're hurting. So this particular person that was struck up the conversation ended up taking me to my bank and having me, unbeknown, I got some sense, I thought, of withdrawing money to give to him because he didn't say he didn't know how to draw money. He said he wasn't familiar with the bank, so he didn't know how to draw it from that particular bank. When they are conning you, they're on the job. They're not vacation. They're working. They're working. And I am not prepared to pay them. So therefore, what I do is go to sleep on it. But I don't wake up, I done found my, he wasn't asleep, and I didn't have my money. Life, life is beautiful. But people have a lot of problems. What you think you see, you don't see. What you think you don't know it. What you think you smell, you don't smell it. What you think you say, all right, got all kind of problems. So therefore, I've got to keep one thing in mind. I got to get one thing in mind.
Yep. What's that?
And that is always, always remember, we're all human. We're all subject to make mistakes. And nobody, but nobody, is so smart that they can outsmart and outthink everybody. That's not happening. And the only thing I can do is be on guard, ask God to help me. Stay on guard. Be friendly, but not over friendly. Spend some time, but not a lot of time. And just try to love people, not to the point that I'm crazy,
Yeah.
but love them enough to know that if anything happened, I care. I'm feeling sorry. I wish nothing happens to them. They have my best wishes, my hopes, and everything else. But I can't undo anything.
So, do you believe that I would say everyone needs to go through something like that to understand how to move around with people, not around, but how to move with people? Like how you said, take time, like spend time, but not a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? I've learned these things through dealing with people and them mistreating me as well, and my mistreatment of other people. And so I've had an inner knowing that I can't be here too long. I should leave this place at a certain time. You know what I'm saying? I should cut the conversation short because I know where it'll lead.
That's it. That's it. Cut the conversation short.
Yeah.
Because really, you started talking about your grandmother and your great grandmother and your great grand, and you talk about you went to Chicago or you went to New York or you spent 6 months in California, 6 months in it. So any particular subject you want to talk about, and you take a long time talking it, it gets into many, many things. And it causes your mind to go many, many ways. And in the process, you're being ripped off, and you don't know you're being ripped off because you're not aware of what you're doing. You're just making conversation. So I say to anybody, when you meet a person, hello and goodbye is the best way to do it. And if there's a conversation going, it's better to let them do the talking. That's what I think. I don't know.
Maybe that's when you know you met the person who actually want to speak to you genuinely.
Well, I have nothing to say much, but the conversation
Yeah.
has got to be well, two ways. Don't think that you can pump me for everything and I tell you everything, but you tell me nothing.
Mm.
That ain't right. And that's what happens.
You know what I call those type of people?
What?
Monitoring spirits.
That's a good name for them.
I'm not the only one who didn't came up with this name, but it's a name that's been frequent through my generation where we've realized that there's certain people on earth who are here, like how they say the devil be working, and those are his workers. They watch you. They want to see what you got going on, want to understand parts of your life. How are you doing what you do? Why is your light your light? You know what I'm saying?
That's true. And what you're also saying is they're not ignorant. They're studying you.
Yeah.
They're studying you all the time.
Well past ignorant.
And they're not innocent when they rip you off. They know what they've done and what they're doing. But you don't know it because you're too into yourself and you're believing that you're right. And you don't mean you really don't. We really don't deliberately want to hurt each other. But there's some people, that's their way of life. They survive off of people who don't think, who don't know, and got a few dollars. That's the way it goes.
You know what I heard?
What
It
is
was a
it?
guy named Bob Proctor. I listen and read a lot of the books like the stuff you got in your home. And Bob Proctor said 94% of people don't think. No, he said 93% of people don't think. 4% of people think that they think, and only 3% actually think. And I'm not sure if I got the numbers correctly right, but a very small percentage of people actually think. It's a few that think that they think. They think they have thought. They think, oh, I might be going somewhere with this. But majority of the world does not think. They don't know. They don't think. They kind of move on autopilot. And I think it's important to know things. Like,
It is important to know things. And another thing, people have a lot of pride. They are also don't want people to know how dumb they are. They hide a lot of stuff. Now that's one thing that they do. Even if they get ripped off, they'll try to hide it. You know, they'll know it's something wrong, but they'll try to hide it.
yeah,
People do not like to feel that they are victimized or they are victims of certain things.
You know something?
Yes.
How you saying that? A lot of people, it's like how you said, say people way of life. A lot of people out here meet so many people that mistreat them. They start to reframe their thinking to people are just all bad. But I didn't realize, like how you saying now, I met a guy. If it wasn't for me listening and wanting to understand, I would have never learned none of the work I did. But
That is
after that,
true.
I found good people in my life because I started to realize it's not about me. How you say my head was too big. I don't know it all. There's people who genuinely want to teach me things for the betterment of me, but I didn't see it.
That's true. That's true. And of course, you're not by yourself. I think I've been the same way
Yeah,
in a lot of experiences I had. I know one experience I had, but this particular person that took up the conversation with me and was holding the conversation. In fact, they were holding the conversation big time. Then they was telling me all about their troubles and what they was going through and how they was going through it, and if I could help them and whatnot. And of course, my heart went out to them.
yeah.
Yeah, my heart went out to them.
Check.
So the first thing I know, I was so call myself helping them get out of their troubles. They got out of theirs, but they put me in another one. He got his payment or whatever he took from me, but he left me in a hole, needing some help myself. So I don't know. We just really have to stop and think. Is it worth all that? All day long, you ain't had nobody to talk to, and you wait and have me and take advantage of me. Well, he may have tried on others, but he wasn't successful. He tried on me and he was successful. That ain't good. And that's the thing that makes you know I've got to wake up, get up, and do things different. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't relish being the only person in going to a cell phone or the only person that's got the calls and all that. I'm the only person that's doing this. I have no problem being the only person of whatever it is. But I know I don't want to be just the only person that realizes that people will take advantage of you if you don't know what you're doing. So I try not to have too much to say and keep it going. What do you think?
No, I think that's completely right, and I think we always face that challenge with people our whole lives. When you get older, someone has to watch over your finances that you may not know. When you younger, you may get a job or start working a gig, or you could be a woman going into a fashion industry and people misuse you. No matter what it is.
That is the word is very, very strong and very good. Misuse. Misuse you. Misuse you. And you miss the way you think about how they misuse you until it's too late. Misuse you.
I say as long as you didn't lose your life, or at least your last savings, then maybe it was right on time. Because
I would agree with you on that.
it's best we wisen up, you know.
I would agree on that because sometimes the cases do go into where you lose your life.
Mm.
And you didn't intend for that to happen, but it happens. So, misuse you is very important. And I am. I think that if I can help, I shouldn't have to be swindled to do some help. If I can help a person, then you help them. If you can't, you just can't. And sometimes it's important that you really need to leave it alone
Mm.
and let God direct the person to where they can get help.
I've done that in my life, and I've told people, you may not see it how I see it now, but eventually God will show you, life will show you. But like how you say, leave people alone. That's what I've seen people. I'm like, oh, I need to stop trying to help them because it's not helping me.
First thing about it, 9 times out of 10, they may not need as much help as you think they need. A
Mm.
lot of things they can do for themselves, but they don't if they can get somebody to do it for them. And that's something else. See how what the condition of that person is. If that person is able to do, what are you helping her for? I mean, it's just one of those things.
Mm.